Good morning and welcome once again to the 31st Lap Live, coming to you trackside from the New York State Fairgrounds here in Syracuse, New York, as we prepare for the Super Dirt Week Championship event, the headline crown jewel, the VP Small Engine Fuels 200. We've got a full show on deck, as along with a full slate of racing activity here at Super Dirt Week. Mike Mallett joining me here trackside along with John Baumus. We're missing Rich Post. I believe he was due in at some point through the course of the morning, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone. It sounded like he just woke up. So.
Yeah, he ran into that issue yesterday morning. We've got the Pro Stock Championship, which is due up today. We're also going to see the Sportsman's on track after they got rained out yesterday afternoon. Full day of racing here. We're going to start it off right here with the 31st lap. Mike, John, you had a busy night last night over at the Rolling Wheels Raceway.
Yeah, what a great show we had last night out at Rolling Wheels. If you missed it, it is on YouTube. You can look it up, find it. Go on there, search for the 31st lap on the FingerLakes1.tv channel. I guess that's what it's called on Facebook, right? Or YouTube.
Buddy, you're sounding tired, man.
Right?
You okay?
Dude, all day I worked yesterday over with the World of Outlaws and the STP folks over there talking.
Career heckler.
Yeah, career heckler. Like I said, I felt like a carny. I got to do that here in about 20 minutes, too, so I got to head back over there pretty soon.
I'm not awake either, so.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. You know, I did have a good breakfast this morning, though. We got up a little early, made some eggs, made some steaks, made some bacon. So I'm ready to go today for the 41st Annual Super Dirt Week here. You know, just let's get this day rocking and rolling, and it's going to start pretty soon. I know we got about 16 minutes till Pro Stocks practice and time trials are scheduled to hit the speedway.
Yeah, we're gonna battle some background noise as we move through the course of the 31st lap this morning. We're gonna have some cars on track behind us. The whole complexion of today's events have changed given the situation from yesterday. We all know what happened there. It rained all day. The Gander Mountain 150 was pushed back. Didn't start until 4 o'clock. Tim McCready ultimately wins that race as Brett Hearn runs out of fuel coming off turn 2 with 2 laps to go. The track shined up real nice. It was wide. It was racy. And now this morning we're going to have the Pro Stocks and the Sportsman, their features, in addition to all sorts of practice and everything going on previous to the 200. I cannot wait to see what comes. It's going to be at least a 2, if not 3 groove track without a question.
Yeah, it should be a good racetrack. You know, again, a lot of racing. Looking down at the schedule here, this was courtesy of Craig Ravel and his Twitter, Finish Line Web Design. Pro Stock practice scheduled for 10 o'clock, as I said. Modified practice scheduled for 10:20. Sportsman are scheduled for 10:50. At 11:10, it is scheduled to be the last chance qualifier for the big block modified. Sportsmen are scheduled to go 30 laps right after that. Then we roll into the Pro Stock main event. And then, of course, we wrap it all up with the VP Racing Fuels SEF 200 for the big block modifieds.
And getting into the final qualifying spot, in addition to what's going to be seated in the starting grid from that last chance qualifier. Last night, the winner of the 25-lap Win in Your End feature, the 45th starter, will be Chad Holman. Remains to be seen what car he's going to be in. Haven't seen him yet this morning. He was talking about driving his own digtrack.com number 91. And he also, after winning that, had 2 offers from drivers who are in that last chance qualifier. In the event they don't qualify, they've offered him their seats.
That'd be nice, you know, to have a car. I was talking to his crew chief while you guys were on last night. You know, I gave up my seat for him, and talking to the crew chief, so I'm like, "You gonna put the quick fill and everything in it?" And he's like, I hope not."
John, how's your mic doing? What's going on with that?
Is it on? Can you hear me?
I had this problem last night with that microphone.
Yeah, because John doesn't like to talk. That's the problem. You know, you got to get in there, John.
I'm not awake yet.
There you go.
I don't know what you know.
That makes 2 of us.
You
John.
guys weren't up till 7 in the morning. You know, you would have been fine.
No, but I was up to almost 3:30.
Yeah. See, I went home and I was in bed by 1:30.
Is he coming through?
I can hear him in my headset a little bit.
Can you hear me? Barely.
Well, get right in there, man. Eat that mic.
Why
Show
are
me
you
how
so
it's done.
Leave it alone. You keep moving it.
Listen. Yeah, he's scared of the thing.
Rich Post joining us now here trackside from Super Dirt Week at the Gator Racing News tent, live on the infield for the 31stlap.com. Rich, glad you could make it over. Hope everything stayed dry in the tent last night.
Yeah, dry. Colder than, I don't know what.
Yeah,
but,
it was chilly.
It was dry.
How'd your heater
so.
work? Did you get your heater plugged in?
No.
So it didn't work.
That didn't work.
Hey, by the way, where's my extension cord?
It'll be over momentarily.
Awesome. Gotta love
Had
it.
to worry about you getting here first before we could worry about all the equipment, right?
Yeah. Don't push your luck.
You don't even want to know what I was in when I walked out the tent the first time.
I don't want to know. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Pair of tighty whities and a wife beater.
Well, Mike,
You're giving me too much.
we've recapped it before, so you got to have this pretty much automatic. Why don't you take us through what we've seen so far? Super Dirt Week going back to Wednesday over at the Q County Fair Speedway.
Let's see if I can do it without messing it up. So Wednesday night, none other than T-Mac Tim McCready picked up the victory in the 358 Super Dirt Car Series race. Steve Gray won the sportsman race over there at Cuyahoga County. You happy now, Bombas?
Yeah, if you're going to report it all.
You know who the one thing we're forgetting is the Brewerton Mod Lights, and I do not remember who won that. I know Mike Mullen. Mike Mullen was the track champion, but we'll get to that.
Forgive me for missing his name, but he's the guy that's won like
Tim
8
Devin,
out of 9 times he started this year or something
that's
ridiculous.
Easy. That's easy to remember. We were setting up for the show, and I was trying to help you do that. So again, that was Wednesday night, Cuyahoga County, Tim McCready, Steve Gray, the sportsman race. Then Thursday night, Rolling Wheels Raceway. Scrub. Rick Acker picked up the World of Outlaw win. Brett the Jet Hearn picked up the victory in the Companion 358 modified race. Thursday night at the D-shaped Dirt Demon, it was
Steve Gray, also at Rolling Wheels.
Did they have sportsmen that
night
too?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so Steve Gray 2 for 2. Nice. And then on Thursday night, at the D-shaped Dirt Demon, the Hurricane 100, Billy Decker picked up the win over Stuart Friesen and Ryan Godown. The Ringo's Rocket. And then Friday night, we had the Twin 20s for the 358s. Billy Decker, Danny Johnson were victorious in those. Then the Triple 20s went to Billy Decker, the 00 of Bobby Barron, and the 49 of Billy Dunn. Yesterday, we had Tim McCready, and I'll get a little bit more details with this one just because I know this is our first show back here since yesterday.
This is basically the post-race show from yesterday because we ran out of time.
Yeah, so the 150 yesterday, the Gander Mountain 150, Tim McCready picked up the win. Billy Dunn came home in second, Tim Fuller third, fourth was Ronnie Johnson, and fifth was Matt Williamson. Over at the Rolling Wheels Raceway, the win and you're in. Chad Homan picked up the win. I'll tell you, that was a good race, but there was some moments there in the middle of that race. I didn't sure if we were ever going to get done.
Well, it was caution plagued, if you will.
Racing hard was the issue.
Yeah.
So when you're giving up one spot, and everybody knows what that spot's worth, to take the green, they were racing. They were racing for it. Chad Homan picked up the win. Mike Bowman from New York was second. Chad Brockman third. Josh Hohenforth, nice showing at fourth. And Utica Rome Speedway regular Todd Burley rounded out the top 5. In World of Outlaws sprint car competition, awesome sprint car race. Steve Kinzer picked up the win. Chad Kavanaugh led all the way up to lap 17 in lap traffic, and the king. He's the king of the Outlaws. We talked to Johnny Gibson last night from the World of Outlaws. He's, 12 out of 35 races now that Steve Kinzer has entered at Rolling Wheels. He's won. So
he's batting something like 323 at Rolling Wheels, 12 career wins.
Yep, pretty
It was
impressive.
323 going into last night.
Yep. So it was Steve Kinzer over Donnie Schatz. Chad Kavanaugh, Kerry Matson was fourth, and fifth was the 89G of David Gravel. Rounding out the top 10, Joey Saldana, Craig Delansky, Sammy Swindell, Paul McMahon, who we had on the show last night, and Darren Pittman. In 5 Mile Point action last night, the Short Track Super Nationals, all reports that I've read, I've seen, amazing race. Billy Pouch, I believe, led with 3 laps to go. Danny Tyler ended up getting the win by a nose over Bobby Barron, who finished in second. Brian the Dream Weaver was third. Pouch ultimately ended up fourth, and the showstopper, Mitch Gibbs, rounded out the top 5.
Wow.
Yeah, from what the reports were, Pouch led every lap but the last lap and ended up fourth.
Yeah, I've read a few different things. So
that was what I heard.
Yeah, so pretty impressive. 66 cars officially entered.
Congratulations to Brett Dale, man. What a night.
Yeah, Brett Dale. So Brett Dale coming off well down there at the 5 Mile Point Speedway. Again, great night everywhere. I mean, even the crowd last night at Rolling Wheels, the place was packed. If you had a chance to get over to Rolling Wheels last night for the World of Outlaws, great time as always over there. I love 410 sprint cars. I mean, what can I say? And it was cool. We had Chad Kavanaugh on last night. Yeah, Chad Kavanaugh was pretty good. Paul McMahon.
Who knew?
Paul McMahon. It was neat to talk to a guy that 2 months ago was in the biggest pit of his life in his sprint car career and hated every minute of it. And now he's got one of the top rides in sprint car racing. He's just grinning from ear to ear.
Yep.
Yeah, in the span of 3 weeks, he went from saying that he couldn't wait for the season to be over to now he hates to see it end.
Yeah. It was pretty funny to talk to him last night. Paul McMahon, real good dude, real funny dude. It was funny. We had David Gravel on, and you see McMahon over on the side going, "Let's go, Gravel. I want to talk."
Yeah.
Going right out of his seat.
Yeah. Still remains, I think, the only instance where one guest has kicked the other one off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about that.
We got the folks from Big Motor Media that are standing off here in the wings. They're going to be coming on with us here in a little bit. We're going to be catching up with them. But
I want to remind you, if you're looking for live updates today, you can, of course, follow me at DTD Mike on Twitter or follow the gang at Dirt Track Digest. Those guys are doing a great job with their live updates, their live coverage. So if you can't be here, you're looking for instantaneous things, go on to DTD. Great coverage there. Just go to the front page. They'll hook you up. I know Adam Ross. I don't think Adam Ross sees a lap turned here.
Right.
He sits in the media center watching it on the TV, and he's got the scoring loop running on the side of it. He's typing on one side. It's nonstop. I don't envy him. Craig Ravel's another one. Finish Line Web Design.
Craig Ravel's got a little different gig. Adam at least in a position where he can, if he indulged too much in the nightlife, he's still okay.
Hey, and speaking of Adam Ross, can't hear us. That speaker's too loud. But I see.
Yeah, I think we're getting drowned out a little bit there.
Yeah, Adam Ross is lumbering his way into the cold beer and wine booth over there.
Pay no attention.
Yeah, him and you'll see us later. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, tonight's your night.
Tonight's the night Adam and I hang out. We walk around all the campgrounds, see who's here. We call ourselves the Sunday Nighters. We like to hang out because tomorrow is Canadian Thanksgiving. So we're really looking forward to that. So
come on, do an interview. Do an interview. No?
I got 5 minutes to practice.
Oh, your car's good.
I'll meet you guys after. I got
all right, we'll be here.
All right,
we'll be
Sean
here tonight
Core,
around
there.
5.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
talk ARCA with him.
5.
Yeah, Sean Core, ARCA campaigner, and he's driven some big races in his
Oh,
ARCA
yeah.
career, so pretty neat there.
It took a minute for it to register. He walked up and I saw a driver's uniform. I read his belt and I'm like, Sean Core, I'm pretty sure I know that name. And then,
That's where you know it
Yep.
from. That's where you know it from. So, we got a lot of stuff going
Yesterday was an incredible day. Let's start off right off the top, breaking down the 150. We didn't get a chance to do that. Billy Decker jumps out. He's out front. Tim Fuller, about 12 laps in, he takes command, found the high side. He drove around everybody, clawed his way up through from a little bit deeper in the lineup. Came up, ended up leading. Gave up the lead under caution when he went pit side right around lap 40. At that point, I think it was Billy Dunn took command. Billy Dunn, yellow flag a few laps later. Right around lap 52 or so, he went pit side. That gave the lead to Brett Hearn. Brett Hearn, on the first lap, they went off into turn 1, and everything from the 14th place car on back was engulfed in dust. Ryan Godin was involved in the wreck. Bobby Varon hopped a right rear tire, launched into the air, tore up.
I know there's a photo of that. George Smith got it.
Wow.
Outlaw Photos got it. He got Bobby Varon in the air.
He's
Wow.
got a picture of Bobby Varon
In the air. So if you didn't
imitating
see it,
Robbie Knievel.
he does. All right,
Jumped over Tim Hindley's number 94, and that pretty much ended their day. So Brett Hearn takes command on lap 55, driving around. You were watching Billy Dunn come up through, watching Tim McCready. Billy Decker ends up pulling off while he's in second place. Terminal issues on that car. We get parallel sticks, 2 laps to go. Brett Hearn comes off turn 2, comes up lame, out of gas after he tried to go 148 laps. He made about 146 and a quarter, and
he's back.
he's back. If you got it, hey, why not?
Wanna hop in? Hey, I gotta hop out.
I know you gotta go.
So,
We'll catch up with you over at the STP tent.
We'll see you guys.
Hey, you're all right. It didn't take anything out. Sean Core going to take a minute, sit down with us here. We'll wrap up our recap of the 150 after the fuel ran out. Billy Dunn with an incredible run going off through turn number 3. Got a run on the top side of turn 4. Definitely challenged the number 4 star of Tim McCready. Got a run on the outside. They threw the caution flag. Sets up a green-white checker finish. The number 4 owned by Vinny Salerno. Tim McCready able to hold off Billy Dunn. Billy needed a few more laps to get that right rear tire hot and get it up to temperature, and he wasn't able to do anything with him. So on lap 155, the checkers fell over Tim McCready, followed by the number 49 of Billy Dunn, who was on the show late Friday night, I think. I don't remember. It's been such a blur of a week.
It was late
We
Friday.
caught up with him, and then completing the Watertown sweep, Tim Fuller comes home in third. We've got ARCA Racing legend, maybe, if you also working on getting his pro stock ready. Sean Core. Sean, thanks for stopping by the 31st lap.
Yeah, thanks for waving me over. I was literally walking past and got summoned.
As we thank you. As I saw you coming across, saw the driver's uniform, just kind of automatic wondering who it was, and I saw the belt. I'm like, hey man, I know that name. So as soon as you were going by, we wanted to flag you down and just kind of get your thoughts on how Super Dirt Week's been.
So far wet. Very wet.
Yes, it has. Very wet and cold.
Wet and cold. I got a couple people up from North Carolina to help out with the crew this week for my dirt car, and they definitely, their blood has thinned out since the last time they were up at Super Dirt Week because they're freezing their buns off. So,
what's your take of this week? You know, with all the changes, first we go from relatively good weather early in the week, then we get all this rain. It changes the complexion of the track. You're all ready to go. You dial in the car that you've got. You know what you're dealt and what you're working with yesterday. They make the amendments to the schedule. They make the changes. They push your race to this morning. is pretty much everything that you've put together in terms of the notes out the window?
Kinda. Right now it's starting to tack up pretty good, the track. So it might be really good, or it might the track might come apart like it's done in the past, and with the really big craters out in 3 and 4, 3 and 4 has always been known for that. So neither it's really good or it's really bad. But we only got 3 laps of practice on Friday, and yesterday they kind of canned everything for the Pro Stock. So I'm just I'm wondering what the car is going to do when we get out there. We really this is a car I won with in 08. So
so where's that car been since 2008?
Pretty much in the mothballs.
Yeah. Can you take anything out of the 08 notebook? Because 08 was it 08 that ended up getting all sorts of snow and everything through the course of the week? The weather was miserable.
Actually, that was a warm week.
That was the nice one.
That was the one that was freezing.
Right.
But yeah, we actually dusted off our 08 book and threw the same setup at it just to see what it does. I mean, different. I mean, the weights are different now from what it was back then, and I mean, they're running the VP fuel now with the crate engines, and so hopefully this setup works. If not, we're gonna try to make some changes, see if we can improve upon what we already have.
What's qualifying mean in terms of the Pro Stocks? I mean, does it make a big difference starting up front, or is it something that you can come from the back if you got the right setup and a good car? I've come from dead last in this race before and finished in the top 5. A lot of people say it's a single file track, and it's really not. At least with our cars, it's not. We can run side by side in the turns, and I love running here. It's definitely one of the best track. It's definitely the best dirt race to run at. Given the show that we saw in the Pro Stocks last year, what should we expect today?
I expect as long as it stays tacky, these cars don't do good in holes. Once they get, like in 09 when they had that, I guess they had tractor pulls on the front stretch.
Yeah, the front stretch was all tore up.
That one, I tore the body got torn off my car from the bottom up, and it looked like I got in a major wreck. I never hit anybody in that race. So, I mean, as long these cars don't do good falling in the holes like the modifieds. The modifieds can make up for it in the shocks, and these things are still based off of GM Camaro subframes.
Right.
So it's really, as long as the track's fairly smooth, these cars are great. If they get a big hole to fall into, they're kind of done.
Today, what are your odds? You got to pick for a winner?
Hopefully me.
That was the right answer.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's I mean, there's so many good drivers in this division. It's really a talented division. I know it's considered to a lot of people entry level, but I mean, there's some guys that have been here forever. Pete Stefanski, I can't remember what his championship tally is. If it's 5, 6, 7, who knows? But I know he's been in it forever. It's Lattisaur, Joey Lattisaur. There's a lot of top.
That's a guy
names
who
there.
desperately wants wins here. Bad.
Is Rocky in today's race too?
I believe so.
Running,
Yeah.
right?
Rocky
Yeah,
is.
he's
and
won
that-
it, the
I think
last
he's
2 years?
I think he's jumping right out of the Pro Stock and right into the Sportsman.
Yeah.
You know, when you've made the progression up out of the Pro Stocks, and you've run with ARCA before, and you look at some of the people who have moved out of the Sportsman class, who, in terms of running at Syracuse, did you kind of look at that and say, you know what, I'm kind of glad I don't have to contend with them anymore because they're such a threat?
Oh, I mean, I saw ARCA as my next move up compared to like a modified or a big block, just because I mean, there's just so many big names to run with, and to come into that, the competition is just so hard. So, but to be able to run in ARCA, at least to be able to start in the back like I am, I've been able to move up pretty well in it. We had the pole at Daytona this year, and I mean, there's 2 major accomplishments to my racing resume that I have, and one's Super Dirt Week and one's the Daytona pole. So
Yep, that's not too shabby.
And what did you think of Daytona this year, running with ARCA? I mean, the finish of that race this year with Bobby Gerhart winning, I think it was like his 8th or something ridiculous like that. That guy is amazing on restrictor plate tracks with ARCA cars. I mean, what did you think of the finish and just to be part of that show?
It was great. Unfortunately, we were making really good way from the back up after we did our fuel stop, and around lap 40, all of a sudden I heard tink in the motor, and then just, I think lap 44, the motor actually came apart for us. So I was watching it from the pits at that point, and what a shot at that end shot of that finish. I don't know where I would have been in that, but hopefully it would have been somewhere following Bobby Gerhardt, or at least following Bobby Gerhardt.
He has found a way to win that race in every way imaginable, it seems like.
Yeah, I think he's got. I'm going to throw out there something around like 12 wins. 8 of them are at Daytona. 2 of them are at Talladega, and I think he's won one Michigan and one Pocono.
Right.
But I mean, he's got those tracks figured out. Did you have the opportunity to work at all with people like Bobby Gerhardt, who has a background in the dirt circuit in the Northeast, or somebody like Frank Kimmel, who's been around it forever but sort of drifted away and then has come back to the ARCA fold?
You can always go over and get input from them guys. They're not going to give up some of their setups, but I've tried to get it out of them, but they won't give them up. But I go over and I always ask questions, so it never hurts to talk to them guys, and a lot of them are really receptive to questions. I've gone over when I had the pole at Daytona. I literally went over to Frank Kimmel and said, "Where do you start in this race? I don't want to look like a fool and missed fire and not fire." So I mean, and he laughed, of course, but I mean, he showed me exactly where to fire and told me to make sure I fire, because if I don't, he's going around me.
How did your whole ARCA deal come about?
Well, I was down working. Actually, John Ferrier got me working with this racing school down in North Carolina, and I kind of was looking at some of the auctions and stuff that they go through, and there's one of the old Cup cars. It was David Gill and M&M's car came up for sale over at Yates, and I was like, let me see what it goes to. I ended up getting it for $6,000. So
nice.
We had that car and ended up going. We leased an engine and made our first debut out at the Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah.
Rich was telling me earlier when we were talking a little bit about some of the drivers. He brought your name up and he talked about the Maynard's patch on your chest, and he was telling me that you were signed to a development deal with Richard Chester.
What are you nailing me down to?
No, yeah. I mean, he's got Menards. It's obviously.
They're just a serious sponsor.
Yes, it is.
No, most of that is true, Rich. Most of that.
Most all except for all of it.
Menards on a serious sponsor. That's true. If I was signed to a development deal, this is the first time hearing about it.
But in all seriousness, I mean, where do you go from here? You know, you've obviously made a splash in ARCA. You've gained some recognition. You've taken time away from your lucrative pro stock career to go run ARCA. You know, you found time to squeeze Super Dirt Week back in here. And you know, what's next?
Well, I mean, we would have been in the points this year for ARCA, except I got in a wreck out in Indiana early in the season and ended up breaking 2 ribs. I got a concussion, broke my foot. And, I mean, we just kind of it knocked us out of points for a while, because, I mean, I tried to race the following week with 2 broken ribs, and it just wasn't happening. And so we just kind of took a step back from that, and now we're going to, we actually did the truck race, the Camping World truck race out in Pocono this past August, and we're going to do the Homestead race in November.
Wow.
The truck series.
Does ARCA, or you know, being that you got involved with NASCAR as well, do they have any type of baseline testing or concussion treatment that you have to keep an eye on? And I mean that seriously, you know, because you see that kind of stuff in especially in football, probably above all.
Right.
You know, is there anything that you need to do in terms of getting clearance?
I mean, just especially with the rib. The rib was really the biggest problem.
That was the biggest one.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid of you stuffing the fence again and whacking your melon.
Yeah. Well, that one, I hit my head a lot.
John knows how that goes.
Listen, don't get smart first thing this morning.
But I mean, the biggest was getting, and that's just his time. That's not even really like a broken arm where they make you lift something. That's just time, because the rib's always moving every time you breathe in.
Right.
Are you nervous at all? Last question before we let you go, and then we also want to hear about, you know, who helps keep the car on the track. Are you nervous? Above all, you got that awesome ARCA driving suit, and you're going to go out there in the Moody Mile and get that thing all crudted up. You okay with that?
I'm okay. It's actually my spare suit, so it's it actually used to be black. I think it's fading to purple now.
It does look a little purple.
It didn't mean to be.
It almost matches the Hoosier logo.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Who makes the car go round, man?
For the pro stock?
Everybody. I mean, we got
all
the time in the world, and you got a truck, an ARCA car, and a pro stock. We want to make sure everybody gets equal due.
Well, I got a great team down in North Carolina with XL Motorsports, John Bellisfield. He's actually, I believe, one of Brett Hearn's old crew chiefs, and he's down. He takes care of all my asphalt cars. They don't want any of my dirt cars down there. It makes the shop a mess. So up here I have JTR Motorsports that helps me on my pro stock with Rich Warden and Troy Arnold, who's another big pro stock driver. He's running Sportsman next year, so ought to be interesting. I'm the only pro stock in the Sportsman garage at this point. But they help me a lot out during the week when I'm home to just put the dirt car back together, and they show me all the latest tricks and stuff, because I haven't really had too much time to do the R&D on the pro stock end. So, but they help me out a lot. We have a lot going on with our team down in North Carolina. Even we're starting a new program that we're starting a new. Hopefully, it'll lead to a sponsorship with Warriors to the Workplace, helping returning soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Sure.
Try to get set up back in like the work.
Try to get it back to work in the domestic sector.
Exactly, and then why am I losing the word on the civilian in the civilian life and all? So we're getting that and flags. Oh, that, and I got to thank the Trans Group and the Trans Tech Bus for coming out. They helped me sponsor the race, and Northeast Fab and all of them guys. So they sponsored me for the dirt race up here. They're all New York-based companies. And,
it's always good.
Yeah.
Empire State program supporting Empire State racing. We love to see that. I know you got stuff to do. We won't keep it anymore. I'm glad you were coming back from where you were coming back from, and you were able to swing by and found some time to stop by and chat with us, man. Thanks for being on the 31st lap.
I'm happy you waved me down. Thank you very much, guys.
Hey, and
Good
after
luck today, man.
Yeah, if things work out good for you, one way or the other, we're going to be here back at 5 o'clock with another live show post race from the 200. We're going to try and recap the sportsman stuff and recap the pro stocks. And if you get time, stop back.
Will do.
We'll see you then.
See you, man. Thanks.
There goes Sean Core, former winner of the pro stock feature here at Super Dirt Week, and we got a car. Sit right down. Yeah, no, you can't do that. You can't.
No, you're not allowed to walk away now.
Well, you already been on the camera twice. Well, we were hoping that folks from Big Motor Media had a chance to stop by. I don't know where they went off to. I lost track of them. We knew that Sean was going to have to get back over to get an eye on his car as they prepare to go out for practice and hot laps and dial in their cars for the Pro Stock Championship here a little bit later on, presented by Back Off No Tobacco Chew. This has been a very busy week. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to catch up with Bobby Varon. We talked to Robbie Knievel.
Yeah, we've had some cool guests so far this week.
We caught up with Billy Dunn Friday night. Last night over at the Rolling Wheels Raceway, we had Chad Kavanaugh, David Gravel, Paul McMahon, and Johnny Gibson. Johnny Gibson was the coolest guy to chat with. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
To have that voice sitting down at our table after hearing it for so many years.
The first guest,
you mean the voice on the video game?
Yeah, that's right. He holds a distinction as being the only guest that we've ever had that has done a voiceover on a video game. So that's good for him. I'm pretty sure that is now going to go right to the top of his resume, having that distinction as part of the 31st lap.
No doubt.
Once again, this is the 31st Lap Live, coming to you from the Gator Racing News tent on the infield of the New York State Fairgrounds during Super Dirt Week. We go live to tape every Thursday night, starting right around 7:15. Find us at 31stlap.com. Follow us on Twitter at 31stlap. You can see the show as it happens on fingerlakes1.tv. We've been doing all these shows. Stuff's been going up to YouTube. It's going up on Stitcher Radio, iTunes. All this stuff has been up all over the place. The problem is we haven't been promoting that part of it. We've had such a rotation of guests and so much stuff to talk to. We haven't really done anything to tell anybody where they can find us. So if you want to follow along, we ended up catching up with somebody who's a regular over at Rolling Wheels. They were walking by. They saw the logo. They stopped and they said, hey, we listen to 31st Lap every week. So that was kind of cool. It's been a ball. Right now, all attention now has turned to the track. We're getting ready before too awful long to get some cars circling the Booty Mile. Interested to see how the track's going to change. There's going to be a couple keys to victory tonight for the guys in the 200 lapper. Above all, we're going to have a look at the pit stop. It's going to be the pit stop, and we're going to couple that with tire management and fuel economy.
Pit stops are crucial here. Getting off a pit road is very, very critical.
Well, pit road speed, we looked at some different pit strategy. Tim Fuller opting to pit at the top end of the pit row so we can get in, and then he can get on the outside of everybody when he goes down pit row, and he doesn't have the doesn't necessarily have the congestion to navigate through when he's trying to make his stop, mandatory stop, and it's going to be forward tire after lap 100. So that is going to change the complexion of the race significantly. If somebody tries to go a little bit deeper into the order, they could try and pit late, catch a yellow. If there's a lot of attrition, they could throw a right rear. They could just hammer on that thing and try to use the top line. Because this track, with the amount of laps that are going to be on it, is going to widen out, and it's going to be fast and racy.
And it was wide enough already to go 2-3 wide yesterday.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Once they work that a little bit more and they establish it, it wouldn't surprise me to see some 2-3 wide racing almost all day.
Well, the
long.
way that Tim McCready ended up taking the second spot, he made a 3-wide move around Brandon Sweet and Willie Decker going down into turn 1, and I was pretty sure he was going to launch off that inside wall without question, but all three of them made it through. Everybody gave each other room to race, and Tim McCready took second, and that ultimately was the move for the win. It won him the race because everybody that was around him ultimately ran out of fuel or had mechanical problems. Right. Why don't you give us a rundown on who's starting where, John? I know you got the sheet. Let's start first with the Dig Safely Modified Last Chance race. We already know that Chad Homan is going to be the 45th starter, but we're still going to add a number of cars through the Dig Safely Modified Last Chance qualifier.
I'll give you the top 10 quick. Right now you got the Last Chance race lineup. You got Vinny Vitale on the pole. Rob Bellinger is outside pole. Tim Courier third. Tyler Seary is fourth. Now those four guys are guaranteed because of Super Dirt Series points. Mario Clare is fifth. Darwin Green is sixth. Jimmy Horton, a former winner of this race, is seventh. Mark Flack Jr. is eighth. Jasmine Lavalle is ninth, and Brian Murphy starts 10th. Another notable in there is Frank Cozy, another former winner. He will roll out 23rd.
23rd in the Mike Perotti car. Mike Perotti fell off of his trailer and broke a couple ribs. He ended up spending a little bit of time, I believe. If I remember the report correctly, he spent a little bit of time in the hospital. He's going to be all right. Yep. Whacked his noggin, so he won't be in the car. Broke a couple ribs. Yeah, Kevin Bates in the 6N also in there.
Fractured ribs and a broken wrist, I guess, were the reports.
And tough break for Jimmy Blewett, also going to be rolling off.
Jimmy Blewett will be in the Last Chance race.
31st. He's got a lot of cars to pass if he hopes to make it.
That's a long way to go.
When I got back from the wheels last night, I was hanging out for a couple hours, and there was talk that Toby Tobias has picked up a ride to start in the back of the Last Chance race. From what I understand, I'm not sure.
We have not been able to confirm that as of yet, but
people were talking about it last night, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, the announcers were talking about it last night. Where they had rolling wheels. So,
well, yeah, we know he's got a ride. We're just not sure what car he's going to be in.
Yeah,
Jimmy Horton.
They said the people that I heard it from said the car, and I don't recall who they said it was.
Jimmy Horton rolling off in the 7th spot as a former winner. I'm not sure if he's going to be eligible for a past champions provisional as well to get into the field, so we're not sure if we're going to be it's incredible the number of the cars that they start here for as we hear cars coming up to full song on the front stretch. Those are the pro stocks out there for the hot lap session. I'm not sure if he's going to make the field either, and he is going to be in the Lincoln Auto Body Dieter Schmidt number 5.
Right, with
Jeremy Corcoran is going to keep driving by.
He's ignoring you.
No, he was going to stop by this morning. He told me to yank him off the cart, so I wasn't fast enough.
If Toby is in the Last Chance race, if he has a ride, if that is true, that would put 3 former winners in the Last Chance race. I'm not sure what they do if none or 2 or 1 or whatever don't make it. I'm not sure how they'll work that. If any of them will get in if they don't qualify.
Remains to be seen. We'll know a whole lot more about the complexion of the starting grid for the Big Block Modified VP Small Electric Fuels 200 at the conclusion of the Last Chance race, which is due up here in a while. Again, as you can hear in the background, we've got
it's starting to get loud.
Pro stocks are already winding up.
No, modifieds right now, I think.
Oh, modifieds, my mistake.
Yeah, that is a modified.
They've got a modified. Yeah, I think they've got a modified practice.
Got to let them know what they're getting into.
Yep.
Why don't you go ahead and let us know who's locked into the top 6 based off of the qualifying.
We got Billy Deckers on the pole. Pete Britton is outside pole. Third will be Brett Hearn. Fourth is Bobby Varon. And then Gary Tompkins and Billy Dunn are the top 6 in today's SCF 200.
How about Gary Tompkins' effort qualifying in the top 6? Good to see for him, huh?
Yeah, it's too bad. I'm not sure what kind of problem he had in the 20 because he fell out while leading. Hopefully it wasn't anything major.
I'm pretty sure he clipped the left front tire.
Is that what it was?
Running flat down here, hitting inside Jersey barrier, yeah.
And then also going behind him, we've got Jimmy Phelps rolling off 7th. Matt Shepard is going to be 8th, followed by Justin Hares, Alan Johnson, Pat Ward,
Pat Ward,
Tim McCready, Alan Johnson. The Stuart Friesen, the defending winner, is going to roll off 13th.
Yeah.
Decent starting spot.
Where do you stop going through the starting lineup?
Another former winner, Rick Coffey, going to be 19th. Rick Lawback going off 24th. Kenny Tremont going to be 26th. Danny Johnson 32nd. Brian Swarthout. That's got to be a typo of some sort, because Brian Swarthout is scheduled both in the VP 200 and as the final starter in the Dig Safely Last Chance show. So we'll have to track down what that's all about.
We're not sure which one is which.
Jeff Strunk in the 23rd spot. He'll be driving car number 88.
Yeah, he's driving a Blewett car, right?
Yeah, yep, that's right. Keith Flagg, Eddie Marshall also already in the field. Matt Papello going to be in the final roll of qualifying cars along with Rich Scalata in car number 8. We talked about some of the keys to victory. Another dynamic to this, in addition to the pit stop, tire management, fuel economy, and things along those lines, is going to be Stuart Friesen. He's got this place figured out. He looks plenty strong. He's been plenty fast, and he's won the last 2.
Yeah, there's no doubt he'll be a factor before the day is over.
It's hard to count against Billy Decker, but Billy Decker went from being absolute Superman to completely beatable yesterday, when even though he had what looked to be one of the top cars on the track, he was running around third, poised to make a run, and all the smoke went out of that thing, and he was forced pit side. How many times have we seen that happen?
I was told last night that it was a broken header.
Header.
Apparently, he thought it was terminal. It started popping and banging.
Sure.
And then it got into pits, dissected it, and found out it was a broken header.
Not the thing that you want to see.
That's what I was told last
end a run in the 150 lapper.
No,
but
especially when you've been that dominant all week long and you just cracked the door open for everybody else. You just left them a glimmer of hope.
Everybody else is feeling a whole lot more confident going into today. They have to. Brett Hearn, another one who ran into some issues, if you will. I don't know how willing he's going to be to try and stretch fuel economy in today's adventure, but again, with that pit stop mandatory after lap 100, it changes it, because fuel economy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're right. But are you willing to give up that much time in the pits, or do you only want to hook the fuel neck up for as long as it takes to put that rear tire out so that you maintain the track position? Because you still have to, if you want to take on a full fuel load and try and push, you pit at lap 101, 110, something like that, you can go the distance on fuel at that point if you have the full fuel load on. But if you've come up short and you only keep the filler neck attached, as long as it takes to hook that rear tire up, what do you do?
Well, there was talk last night by some crew guys. I guess the way the rule's written about changing the right rear, it says and or. There was talk about maybe some guys pulling the right rear off and then throwing it right back on.
Right, sure.
That way they took it off, they changed it. They didn't change the tire, but they took it off, but put it back on, because apparently the rule is written and or.
And
you
or.
Change it or take it off and put it back on, apparently. So there has been talk about that. So I think you're going to see a few different strategies up pit road.
You're definitely going to see a lot of different strategies come into play. But, putting that right rear tire right back on the car is going to present another issue, depending what the track surface actually does here.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. We've broken down the race a little bit and talked a little bit about the different strategies and things. We are coming up kind of on the limit. We're going to have to get out of here before too long, because we've got the musical Viral Spiral coming to you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls here at the top of the hour. Again, you are listening to the 31st Lap Live. Who do you like today? We just gave you the rundown on the top 15 or so. There's a lot of past winners in there. There's a lot of guys that are surprises. There's a lot of guys who have the capacity to come through with their first win in the 200 lapper. And of course, this is Syracuse. This is the Booty Mile, and anything can happen. Who do you like?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, you go, John, because John.
You guys broke my balls about taking Billy Decker the other day. I'm going right go down.
We were right to break your balls about taking Billy Decker.
I don't know. Ultimately, all of us sitting at the table right now finished in the same situation. Mike was the only one that had a car running at the end of the race.
Yeah, but he's not here, so we're not talking about that.
I'm going with Ryan Godown today.
Why?
He's very good here.
Because the 747 car is one of the coolest paint jobs ever.
Absolutely. It just looks fast.
He is very good here. He's always gotten around this place very well, and I don't know. Something tells me we're going to get a first-time winner.
It's a reasonable. That's a reasonable assessment given what we've seen. How close was Billy Dunn to picking up his first win
yesterday
in one of the championship events? You look at what he did yesterday. Ended up with Rookie of the Race honors out of it.
Ryan Godown, in my opinion, no doubt will be a factor in today's race.
As hot as he's been, and on top of that, it's hard to argue. He had a very, very good car over the Hurricane 100 Thursday night at Brewerton Speedway, and he definitely could have been a factor in that event as well, given a few more laps. But there's only 200 laps on the scoreboard. That's as far as they're going to go, unless they go with a green, white checker finish like they did last night. So we'll have to see, because nobody gets bonus laps unless there's an accident in the final few circuits. What do you say?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I want to hear what you have to say. I'm excited.
He wants the last word.
I always want the last word.
No, I mean him.
Well, I'm gonna go with Justin Harris.
Justin Harris. That's another surprise pick, but a good one. You were talking. Tell me again what you told me about Justin Harris on Friday.
Well, he's been real good here at the mile the last few years, and he's kind of run into that hiccup. Catching a left front flat, or running for that halfway money, and pinching himself into a pit window that's not necessarily what they're looking for. And I was talking to him Friday, and usually I stop and I talk to Justin for 5-10 minutes, and we're done. And the conversation basically lasted about 10 or 15 seconds.
Hey, Jeremy.
He was just so
he's stopping this time.
He was so focused in that it was almost like I was talking to a wall.
Right.
And and he was participating in conversation. He was just so focused that he bring them back over.
Jeremy Corcoran was somewhat scheduled for the morning, but he's gotten tied up and can't quite make it over. He's gonna continue cruise on as Can-Am commander.
He's chickening out.
No, Justin has I guess tunnel vision is not the right word, but that's he's not completely tunnel vision, but he's
markedly focused.
Very focused on the program and what they've got coming up, and it's one of those things where you look the driver in the eye, and he just looks ready to be the winner of this race. I guess this isn't a dark horse backup pick, but since yesterday I fell on my face, I'm putting two out there today.
Did it hurt?
Yeah.
No, not too bad, actually.
So you said Justin Harris.
Justin Harris is my pick.
Justin Harris, and then you're going to say and
Tim McCready for a sweep.
Tim McCready for a sweep.
He's got a. I think.
Wait a minute. How many drivers you picking?
I'll go through the list if you let me.
I'm confused now.
Yeah.
I just picked two. Picked two guys.
He said Justin Harris is his pick, and he's going to say if anybody out there at home is struggling to decide, another good choice would be Tim McCready.
Tim McCready, and that's one of those deals where he picks up the win yesterday, first ever here. He gets up on stage with his father and his son, and I think the confidence level that Tim's got is going to be very high today, and I think that may be the one thing he's been missing here in a big block at the mile.
You're right, and Tim Fuller said it great in Victory Lane. There's been so many crowning achievements for Tim McCready. He's won so many big races, and this place has been very unkind to him in past years, and small block, big block wins have eluded him. So to get the small block monkey off his back, it can only hopefully open things up for Tim, and we'll see what happens. I've been studying this. There goes Don Davies from Area Auto Racing News. Cruising, no. He wants no part of this. He's got real things to do.
He's got reporting to do.
He's gonna go get the answers to all the questions that we've asked each other, and no one could ever come up with a solution to it. I'm looking at the top. It'd be great to see Pete Britton win. Billy Decker, Brett Hearn, definitely contenders. Gary Tompkins is going to be in the mix of it. Matt Shepard, Pat Ward in the mix. Stuart Friesen, hard to bet against him as a two-time defending winner. But I skipped one on purpose. My pick for the 200, the 00, the Dover Brake Car, Bobby Farron. That guy has done so well here this week in the big block cars. Looked plenty strong. We had an opportunity to talk with him yesterday. Talk about a guy who is just as focused as any driver out there. And the first return, I think, for the Dover Brake Car, the 00 to Super Dirt Week, I think we decided it was somewhere around 1978.
Many years.
Yeah, been a long time since he's been here. So love to see Dover Dave come up with a win. Be great to see that come together for the 00, get that car back into victory lane, and it'd be a good thing for Bobby Farron too.
Well, every time we've had him on the show, he's done something. So he was on the show the other night. You never know.
He came on, before we went racing yesterday, and he tried his best Robbie Knievel impression, and I was greatly impressed with his abilities. And of course, we make light of a serious situation, with him taking flight like that. We're just glad nobody got hurt, but rather ironic, like we said earlier, that we get Robbie Knievel in here right after Bobby Varon yesterday, and he goes out to put on a show and impress.
And he did just that.
We have a special guest that just sat down with us. A Jeremy Wilder crew member, the world famous Berkey Sausage. What are you doing, Berkey Sausage?
Oh, nothing much. Surviving today.
Where's Jeremy?
Jeremy's still sleeping. He had a late
get his
night.
ass out of bed. No.
He had a late night.
His mother wants him out of bed, so she picked the camper up.
What are you doing?
I'm going to watch Brett Hearn win today.
So is that your pick?
Well, there's a pick right there.
Yeah, Brett Hearn. He almost won it yesterday, but he was a couple
Almost
down
ain't
short.
good enough.
I know.
What happened?
He ran out of gas.
Realistically, what are his odds? What is the fuel strategy for the 20 car today?
I don't
Fill
know.
it?
Hopefully.
Fill it and wait 2 laps,
Yep.
because he realistically could have won that if he would have waited. He pitted under that caution flag. If he would have waited 2 or 3 laps under yellow, and hit pits, then he'd have been fine.
Yeah, I was talking to this one crew member last night, and I think if they had a pit like lap 6, that he would have definitely made it for sure.
What in your expert opinion, and for all the time that you spent, look at the surprise.
Expert.
What effect? Rich is going to argue me to the death on this. What effect did the red flag, because he was sitting a lot around idle, not clicking laps off, versus cruising around under caution? Did the red flag have an effect on the fuel consumption?
They told me the red flag is what hurt him, because he had to stop and let the car idle.
I stand corrected. The part of Rich's argument, which I did not pay attention to, was that under red flag, you're right, the car is running, and I'm arguing under red flag, the car is not going to draw as much fuel as it would if it was under yellow. So I don't see where the red flag would have hurt him. The difference being, which Rich kind of articulated without actually saying, is under red flag, you're not clicking laps off. You're just sitting there burning fuel, and that, coming straight from the horse's mouth.
You're still burning fuel and you're not moving.
Right.
Well, that's...
A lot of those guys, they go around, they shut the car off in the corners, turn it back on, so they save fuel that way too.
Now again, I was at Rolling Wheels opening up the front gate, so I missed yesterday's race. What was the red flag for?
The red flag was for the Sears car, there's a different series of incidents in 3 different places on the track. 2 guys broke and stopped out of the speedway, and Sears broke over in turn number 3, but he broke in a way that he couldn't get off the track.
He pounded the wall,
and he had to be carted off the track.
And they needed to put the wrecker in the middle of
it would have blocked the whole straightaway.
So they went red to give them the time to lift that car up and get it out of the way.
Right, gotcha.
And in that time, they very well may have clicked off 2 laps under caution. And,
right.
And and I'm not saying that guarantees that Brett would have had enough fuel to make that run, because he's still got Tim McCready breathing down his neck.
Right.
Tim's still pushing.
Tim's got enough fuel to go the distance. So
Tim knew he was comfortable.
Right. The hell out of him.
And if all that said, and even with the red flag, and not counting the caution laps there to get him another 2 laps, I still think pitting 2 or 3 or 4 laps later under that caution.
Well, there was no way. We can
No
armchair
way to know.
quarterback this thing as much as we want to do, but the long and short of it was, he had a fuel strategy. He stuck to the fuel strategy, and it was 1 and 3/4 laps short.
Yep. And whether that's calculation or he had to push a little harder than. Tim McCready very well may have made him push harder than he wanted to be going.
Tim said he did. Tim said that in victory
lane. He said he was looking
exactly
to push
what
him.
he should do.
Right. No. Tim said he was doing that, but that may be something that Brett is thinking. I can conserve this amount of fuel. I know I can do this, and he didn't maybe factor in the fact that Timmy was going to be right there pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing quite as long as he had to. So, hopefully, if they have a fuel strategy today.
Once again, our race recaps all week long presented by Gator Racing News. This is the 31st Lap Live coming to you from the Gator Racing News tent on the infield. We just got a few more minutes. We do have to get out of the way. Again, the viral spiral for those watching at home. is going to be following us here on FingerLakes1.tv, the Viral Spiral with P-Spot, and Jim Sinacropi filling in for me over there at the home studios in Seneca Falls.
You're not going to make it back?
I'm not going, no. I'm not even going to pretend to try.
No.
It's been busy enough. We are going to be back this afternoon with a post-race show sometime around 5 o'clock, depending on how the afternoon goes. It might be later. We don't anticipate it being a whole lot earlier. Guys, I mean, I appreciate everything. What else do we have to cover before we get into the course of this afternoon?
No, go ahead, John.
I think we've pretty much covered everything, haven't we?
The only thing I really want to put out, Chris, is I want to thank my wife and both my kids for they're both at home, and they've made this mostly my wife has made this possible for me to be out here for the entire weekend and get these shows done the way we're doing it. So I am I want to say hi to my daughter Abigail and thanks to my wife, and my son Rylan doesn't really speak a whole lot, so I'll just say hi to him because he doesn't care at the moment. Daddy's out of sight, out of mind. But
do you have something else? Look like you're ready to.
Who's going to win the Pro Stock and Sportsman races today? I'm going with Joey Ladaseur in the Pro Stock, and I'm going to go with Rocky Warner in the Sportsman.
I'm going with Rocky in both.
Yeah, I was just about to go the same way. But in that case, I'll go Sean Core.
What the heck?
I mean, why not?
Stealing my thunder, man.
If he's going to come sit down at our table, I'm going to go with the guy. and then I'll go with Rocky in the Sportsman race.
I like Desjardins in the Sportsman race. He's been fast, and it's a type of race where if you start up front, it's going to help you, especially with the rev limiter. Desjardins in the Sportsman race. Joey Ladaseur so desperately wants to win here, but you got a lot of other good cars there.
Yetman's pretty fast.
Yetman's won here before. Shaw Core's won here before.
Yeah, Ladaseur's always good.
I'll go with Joey Ladaseur, I think. Yeah, I'll put it there. Yeah. We got phone calls coming in. I'm willing to bet that's the studio trying to let us know that we gotta make some room. Got to say hi to my boy at home. He's at home with his
see a Berkey sausage.
With one of his eyes full and shut.
How's his eye doing today?
We were on the phone with the doctor on the call center. I had my fingers crossed that everything they were going to get back to us quick, and they did, and everything looks like we got it under control so far at home. I'm waiting for further information from the house. But I think that's going to do it for the live edition, the pre-race show of the VP Small Engine Fuels 200. We're going to be back with you again right here from the Gator Racing News tent right around 5 o'clock tonight. Guys, it's Super Dirt Week. It's Sunday.
It is. It's the final day.
It is the final day. We're just a little bit away. We'll see some Pro Stock action. We'll see some Sportsmen. And we're going to see... Come on now. There we go. And we're going to see some Modifieds. That'll do it for this edition of the 31st Lap Live. For Rich Post, John Balmas, and Mike Mellon, I am Chris Morcourt. We look forward to seeing you again right back here around 5 o'clock on the 31st Lap Live.